between Covert Muffin and Trojan Dude, or Trojandude12. We'll just be calling him Trojan. On commentary, my name is Grimelius, and I'm joined by Poogle. What's up, Poogle?
I'm doing okay. It's gonna be a good match. Still a little heart pumped, but
Well, you don't have to play this one. You just get to watch and judge others, which is easier, I think.
oh, that's a lot easier and also pretty entertaining.
Yeah. So what can you tell me about these two?
They're both extremely talented rando players. Both of them been looking forward to the match. Covert Muffin especially says that he wants to sweep 2-0. He is hoping that for a Jet seed he doesn't have to check as many pickups, which would be a boon considering that Trojan is known for being extremely thorough, knowing how to route things extremely effectively and get the most pickups in a short amount of time.
Well, that's always the gamble. Muffin is someone who has enough experience to know the various probabilities and whatnot surrounding skipping or not skipping whatever pickups. Muffin is also someone who, by his own admission, suffers from nerves pretty heavily in various scenarios. So the friendlier the seeds are, hopefully not to the point of being, you know how it can be, Poogle. Sometimes you get so many skills so early that it's kind of overwhelming and you don't know where to go first, but hopefully the seed is reasonable and not completely unreasonable.
Well, asking for a reasonable rando seed is like trying to find a needle in a haystack.
That's probably true.
Or I suppose a bash skill and an Ori rando seed. But hey.
That's fair. Yeah, this should be close though. I mean, the seed, if you were to judge by seed numbers, we would expect Muffin to win this, although as we've seen in this rando tourney, the seed numbers aren't too meaningful, to be honest. For what it's worth, in the Swiss stages, Muffin went 4-1. He almost went 5-0 and just lost to Dedu in the final round, whereas Trojan went 3-2, one of those matches being a loss to Covert. So we do have technically a bit of a rematch situation. Muffin won the first one.
And what's very entertaining is that Covert Muffin only lost to his doubles partner.
That, I didn't even think of that, but you are completely correct. That's funny. We are off though. Muffin on the left, Trojan on the right. Poogle, I'm going to ask you the age-old question. What do you think, what's the first skill going to be?
Let's go with Glide.
It's, well, we will find out. The first pickup wasn't a skill, it was 53 XP. Trojan actually missed a small jump, only cost him, a few seconds or whatever. Also interesting that both Trojan and Muffin decided to pause off of that 53 XP to take out the Brambles. Nice heads-up play by both.
Really good to do, because then they don't have to use sign to plink at them one at a time later.
That was a good joke you said there. Really good to do. Get it?
Oh,
to
goodness. Oh, that's something I wasn't expecting. Clean water.
Clean water is, I mean, as everyone knows, it opens up 2 pickups right off the bat in Logic. One of them being Fake Flippers, which probably both people would check anyway, but now it's in Logic. Clean water instantaneously also means that you don't need to worry about health quite as much necessarily, because the final escape you won't be required to take like 5 damage.
Now, that does put a bunch of interesting pickups within the Logic. It puts a couple of the pickups, such as the one in Spider Sack area, the ones in Death Gauntlet, that you wouldn't necessarily think of at first, does put them in Logic. So I'm curious as to if their progression, especially if they get something like a Wind Restored, perhaps.
Now, you predicted a certain skill being the first one, that first pickup being Glide. With Wind Restored, we might see the Glide pickup sooner rather than later. There it is.
Well.
Yeah, so that's Glide and Wind Restored. No Keystone, so obviously they can't go through the door, but with Cleaned Water, both of them are going to check the pickups. Fake Flippers was an ability cell. Second one is a single Keystone, but not a double Keystone. So Muffin is going to go off to the right, being just very slightly ahead of Trojan.
Oh my goodness.
So what does the Grove TP unlock then?
Well, the Grove TP unlocks 2 pickups. It unlocks the Charge Flame Tree itself, and it unlocks the pickup that is at the bottom, well, that is below the Charge Flame Tree, that is the Experience Orb. Now, I'm wondering if either runner is going to do the blind movement from Charge Flame, because if they do that, then they can head past and check both at the same time without having to worry about saves coming.
Well,
Covert Muffin's gonna take this opportunity to do a save anywhere to skip this cutscene so that he doesn't have to watch the 30 seconds or so.
yes, but now he can't do the save scum you just described. He could go off to the right to get energy, but even that, to be honest, is risky because without wall interaction, you might slip and fall, and it sounds so trivial. But yeah,
I would
Muffin's gonna have to
suspect.
check this, and he's not gonna be able to save scum it.
I would suspect get the energy crystal to. Oh, never mind. I was gonna. No, he technically can because since he
I
did the save
think that
anywhere.
may have been a mistake from Muffin, maybe not immediately realizing what happened. The reason that Muffin reloaded there, which pretty much tied him up with Trojan, even though Trojan has watched that cutscene now, is that if Muffin had watched that cutscene and let it play out and save, died again too, Muffin would have had to alt-R, teleport back again, and lose quite a bit of time. So I think that was just a bit of a flub. That is unfortunately going to give Trojan the lead for the time being.
And Trojan is gonna do this blind movement. So the blue wall that we're seeing on Muffin's screen as he's going to the left, Trojan is gonna be able to skip because while it's not on screen, technically it doesn't exist. And since Covert Muffin's going for that energy crystal, looks like he's gonna go after this as well, and it's gonna be climb. Ugh.
So this
Climb's
seed so
glide
far
speed.
is it's I mean having glide is fantastic. Having glide and wind restored is icing on the cake. Those are wonderful pickups, even though they're hard to use to their full potential at the moment. They're wonderful to have. With climb, you see Trojan altaring. He'll be the first to enter Blackroot, which is really the only spot that's available at the moment, I think.
And it is really nice that both of our owners do have glide because just climb Blackroot is, I want to say, one of the hardest things to have to do as far as Blackroot's concerned. The only other thing potentially being just single charge flame Blackroot. And by charge flame, I mean charge jump.
Yeah, it certainly makes your life easier having the mid-air control. Yeah, so Muffin was in the ahead. Trojan now on the right, as you can see, is slightly ahead. It's uncommon that randomizer seeds are so linear, but this is an interesting split.
Now, it's going to be interesting is if Covert Muffin has practiced the climb method of getting up to that XP art, and it looks like he is. So Trojan's going to take a little bit more time doing the casual method of getting up, going by the platforms, killing the spiders.
Well,
Meanwhile,
assuming that Muffin gets this, because this is not easy. Nice job.
he's going to be able to take a little bit of a lead here because he gets those climb ramps, which are really difficult.
Yeah, climb has a certain amount of momentum associated with it when climbing up walls, so it isn't enough to cling to the wall. You have to kind of just shimmy down and then ramp back up with enough speed, to the point where many players in that situation will either skip it. So we've already seen several flip-flops. Right now, Muffin is just very slightly in the lead, although Trojan arguably has a small advantage since he's watched the Grove teleporter cutscene and Muffin skipped it. But that's a very small advantage.
Speaking of climb ramps, Muffin's gonna take a bit of damage on the spikes to the left in order to check that XP orb up at the top by using the climb momentum to glide himself over.
Yeah, it's always nice when you can avoid the platform cycles that Trojan's taking now, and you can tell it should be evident the amount of time that Muffin saved from that trick, although Muffin had to take some damage. It's possible to do it without damage, but it's much easier with wall jump than it is with climb. One way or another, though, ow, my god, that was a really bad death for Trojan. That is a
Oh,
very bad death for Trojan.
that is. Well, he's got 2 keystones, it looks like, so looks like Trojan's just going to just ignore Blackroot for now and head over to left glades.
Yeah, this isn't an unreasonable play at all. I mean, Glades is a very dense area. With Climb, you can check most of it. I will say that if Muffin happens to find some better verticality, he'll be advantaged by being able to check additional pickups that Trojan is going to have to skip. And of course, the obvious, Trojan is going to have to revisit Blackroot later. So certainly Muffin, despite those small mistakes at the charge flame area, does have a lead over Trojan because of that death.
Gonna get a Mega Energy from the Map Stone, meaning that Covert Muffin's gonna be able to open up the way to Death Gauntlet. And oh, with clean water, he could just go if he wants.
He could. He'll have to skip a number of things. Trojan just found Bash, so
And
let's make
Stomp
sure
from Map
to
Stone.
mention that. Yeah. So that's very important. I was gonna say, well, it's in the past now. It doesn't matter. Muffin is gonna go through the wall jump loop one way or the other. Oh, Stomp as well. Yeah, I missed it.
So
I heard
we've
you. I
got,
heard you say map. I didn't hear you say Stomp, but
yeah,
it became clear very quickly.
we've got Stomp from the Map Stone. We've got Bash from the Keystone next to the Map Stone.
So Poogle, run me through like what's available right now. We had just Climb and Feather effectively. Now suddenly Bash and Stomp. That
We've
doesn't
got,
actually open up like a huge amount right now,
oh,
does it?
it does absolutely. We've got Wind Restored, and we've got Feather, and we've got Bash and Stomp. That opens up the entirety of Sorrow and most of Valley.
I didn't even think about that. It's very rare to be able to go left side so early.
We've got 9 minutes in, and basically is all of left side access save for Misty. But to be fair, they could even do that if they wanted to.
Also, the Gumon seal from the wall jump tree, as always, unlikely to be important. Although Trojan also found the Forlorn teleporter, or it might have been Muffin, but it's been seen. Unlikely that they will go there. Yeah,
Well,
I
like
saw that.
said, left side access, and now that's actually thing though.
Well, here's the thing about left side access. It's available, strangely available for 12 minutes into the seed. It's still kind of rough to go to. I also just want to mention, in the interest of coverage, Muffin, as is his usual play, went through the Spirit Caverns before going down to this area. Unfortunately, Bash is down here, which means Muffin had to skip some pickups in Spirit Caverns. So he'll either have to skip those pickups or go back for it a little bit later. Very skill-dense seed, though, so far. Like, shockingly dense.
That it is indeed. As far as that's concerned, Muffin had said prior to the seed that with a skill dense or somewhat jet seed, he felt confident in skipping pickups to just get to trees, or what he coined as the term lumberjack mode, and just get those clues, get those trees, and see just how fast he can go through the seed and complete it.
Yeah, this certainly seems like it's going to be a jet seed. You can never know for sure before you have the dungeon keys. And speaking of dungeon keys, Muffin on the left is approaching wall jump. We already know it's the Gumon Seal double jump to the side. However, this is tree number 3 for Muffin, where Trojan only got tree 2 because he had to duck out of black root. So pay attention to Muffin's screen. We're about to get clue number 1.
It's the Gumon Seal clue.
That is the most useless clue imaginable at the moment. Got the Gumon Seal instantaneously, got the clue for the Gumon Seal. What that means is that, kind of what you just mentioned, Poogle, I think Muffin is going to try to rush trees probably as much as he can, primarily to get to 6 in order to get his next clue. I mean, Muffin can get to every single skill tree in the game with this skill set.
That he can. Trojan's gonna head into Forlorn ever so briefly, just for the sake of getting that map pedestal put in.
Yeah, that's an interesting decision. Trojan, this is going to sound like condescending. I swear it isn't. Trojan makes interesting plays. I just mean that for what it is. Sometimes they pay off and sometimes they don't. As far as unlocking maps, going to Forlorn is a very, very quick check to get out of the way.
And it is really nice because a lot of times some people don't really think about that being there, just the fact of you can get over there with the map pedestal, turn that map stone in, and he has at least one more extra map stone so that he can turn one in here as well. If something happens to be on a map stone, perhaps maybe a clue or something else in particular.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Trojan, by the way, missed one cycle in Blackroot. Not going to be too costly, but just a little bit of time. So yeah, Trojan for the timing isn't going to find anything too special on his way to Dash, although he might find something better if he heads down to the boulder area. Muffin is continuing to be somewhat thorough in Grotto. He could be quite a bit more thorough, but he's sort of, checking the things that are relatively close by on his path. He has to be no stranger to the fact that he can already get to a lot of different skill trees.
what he might be looking for is he might be looking for blue plant breakage, because as far as the skill set he has, that is about the only thing he does not have the capability to do.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at the skill set. In a seed like this, surprisingly, Charge Flame is actually, I think, what he'd ideally want, because it makes getting through the final escape easier, but that might be sort of a future concern. Muffin also quickly picked up an extra double jump from the right hanging log in Lower Grotto. So right there, it went from double to triple jump. I have
Now,
to say, Poogle, like, every time you get these seeds where you have double jump and bash and such early, it feels so fun to move around, but that can also be difficult because it can be hard to know where to go first when everything's available.
oof, double that when you end up having bash grenade seeds, because there's so much within logic that is just, wait, where go? What do?
Pretty much. Yeah, and thanks for Hydra pointing this out. Muffin is already skipping some pickups. He skipped both the mini boss and the mapstone, kind of near those horizontal crushers. So I guess maybe to the point of skipping or not skipping pickups. And Poogle, this is another thing I'll ask you. Is there anything that these guys really desperately... Jesus Christ.
I think you just answered your own question, Grim.
Do you think they need dash?
Well, they needed blue plant breakage and some way of breaking the one of the walls in the final escape. I think they got it.
What unbelievable timing.
And there's grenade at Raziel No.
Okay, see, Grenade and Raziel No is interesting. It's something that Muffin may or may not do. He's heading back into Blacker right now, which is good, but he might even skip that entire teleporter area with the justification that he might not ever have to come back. Yep, he's skipping the lever. Muffin's going to go straight to Light Grenade, which means that he will almost certainly not get Grenade this seed, but that might not matter. There's the Sunstone, though, so I take it all back. Muffin will be going here at some point.
Which means that he won't miss grenade, and he'll get grenade with his sunstone.
So a lot of things are happening right now. Muffin right now has a lead in terms of the trees that he's been to. He's already been to Double Jump, whereas Trojan hasn't even been to Grotto. Muffin will also get to the Light Grenade tree, which for him will be tree number 5. Trojan did take a death and so had to redo some of that area, but it wasn't too costly. So Muffin on the left has the advantage in some sense for trees. Trojan, however, has an advantage through having Grenade and through having the Sunstone, something Muffin will definitely have to revisit later on.
I would absolutely see the possibility of Muffin taking the route from the Sunken Glades teleporter through Blackroot if and when he gets the Sunstone clue, because then he can check the dash point, he can check the Raziel No area before he has to go down to Lower Blackroot, because Lower Blackroot's just not fun.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. Just to reiterate too, Muffin did find dash, which everyone saw, but like Trojan doesn't have that. He'll get it, of course. I mean, that's one of the easiest pickups to get with this skill set on the way to double jump, but for the time being, he doesn't have it, so Muffin is just going to continue building up this lead. Looks like Muffin's next destination is Swamp.
And they can get into Swamp via Swamp entry, via all skills, all cells, what have you method of getting into the Swamp area.
Yeah, nice little triple jump dash glide there by Muffin. I didn't actually know you could reach that AC, but clearly Muffin, being the randomizer veteran that he is, did know that. So as expected, Muffin is doing the Swamp entry. Meanwhile, Trojan teleported back to Blackroot. Looks like he's going to follow in Muffin's footsteps and get Light Grenade out of the tree. Muffin's shot phase through.
Well, shots normally do that, unfortunately. Seems like the more you end up trying to hit the middle of the platform, the more likely you are to phase through the floor. It's the same with frogs, too. They will also do that, and that's just not a good time.
Now, Poogle, speaking of being thorough, you mentioned that Trojan is known for being thorough. He is continuing down. I'm sure he won't go like deep into Lost Grove, but Trojan is going to go check a handful of these pickups, starting with the grenade locked one where you have to take out the little froggies. This is, I think, an interesting decision on his part, since Trojan, just like Muffin, has effectively the entire map at his disposal.
I think he doesn't want to leave anything unturned just in case there's something down here, because I don't think no one really wants to go to the Lost Glove Lower Bracket area, first off. Second off, No one wants to do this trip twice.
You're not wrong about that. Also, we got the second clue, and it is for the water vein. The water vein is somewhere in Valley. That's a very, very good clue from our perspective because we already know where the Sunstone is. Obviously, Muffin does not, but I'm pretty pleased, and I think Muffin will be pretty pleased as well, that the clue is water vein rather than Sunstone.
So, Valley Long Swim, anyone?
Could be. This is the sort of jet seed, though, where it's like, it very much could be a Valley Long Swim. It could be somewhere much easier. Heck, it could be at, Vanilla Feather. So, like, I'll be curious as Muffin does this to see how many pickups he checks and how much he just skips past.
Well, he's got Charge Dash now, so he can break plants. Which means that he's not going to be missing anything that Trojan would have gotten by way of Grenade.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I was surprised for a minute that Muffin skipped the opening plant, but of course he did. He didn't have Grenade. I forgot for a moment that he didn't have that yet. So good awareness by Muffin to dip back and unlock the plant. Trojan, to check in, has made it to Light Grenade. He will have more decisions ahead of him in just a moment.
Now, there is the possibility that because of Grenade being this early, the Water Vein is Grenade locked. Now, Muffin's not going to skip any of these Grenade lock pickups once he gets Grenade. However, it could mean that he has to make his second trip into Valley. Well, Trojan won't have to when he gets there.
Well, to be honest, I mean, you and I and all of you lovely viewers, we have the benefit of being able to see both players. There's the Valley TP from that pickup. That's kind of funny. Obviously, Muffin doesn't know where the Sunstone is, but kind of thinking forward, this is looking pretty grim for Trojan, to be honest. And the reason is that Muffin, given his playstyle, will almost certainly continue clearing out all the trees. When he gets his Sunstone clue at Blackroot, where's the first place he's going to go? It's the boulder area. Probably with Dash Plant along the way. And the process, he'll get Grenade, which means that even if the Water Vein is locked behind a Grenade pickup, it's still not going to be a problem for Muffin. He'll kind of get it by default.
It wouldn't surprise me if, perchance, Muffin went for the trees first and then went back to find things.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Muffin is going to dip down to the bottom of Valley just to clear out a few things, hoping that it's the Water Vein, and it is not yet anyway. And actually, Muffin is going to maybe even continue all the way along the Valley path.
Now, here's an interesting thing. If there's one cell that they might have a bit of trouble getting to, and that is the ability cell that's up in that little area by the spikes. Never mind.
I know what you were going to say, and that's a very good point. It didn't play into it this seed. We call that the fact cell. I don't even remember what it stands for. It involves a frog, and it's dumb. But
it's frog ability cell, Skip.
Oh, is that what it is?
Something like that.
Well, it's not relevant this seed. If it had been, you're totally right, Poogle, that it could have been problematic. Muffin is going to do some rocket jumping to save himself the traversal time. With that, Muffin only needs the Sunstone. It is in Blackroot, but Muffin won't know that until he clears out his remaining trees. I'm guessing because Muffin doesn't have that knowledge, he'll likely do Misty Woods last. Although there'd also be an argument for doing Ginso last.
Well, with the fact that he's only got 6 keystones, wouldn't surprise me if he ends up taking a dupe or two here, or if he utilizes that Forlorn Teleporter.
Yeah, there's the dupe, as expected, since Muffin knows he's going to need some minimum number of keystones, at least 8 for the rest of the seed. To check in with Trojan, Trojan actually got wall jump, so that's, to be honest, not the most impactful pickup in this seed with Climb already at their disposal, but wall jump is a nice movement skill to have. It was in a plant, which is why Muffin couldn't check it.
That makes sense. Does give them a bit more versatility as far as navigation, but still not the most dire thing.
Right. Can we just say, too, look at the bottom left part of your screen, look at Muffin's skill tracker. He is at 8 out of 10 trees. We're at 22 minutes. This, we knew it was a jet seed. Even for jet seeds, this is quick.
Looks like Muffin is going to go into Ginso first. Which, I actually do really like this. Ginso is slightly less obnoxious to have to go through and get the pickups on the way to the tree. Misty, you do have to take a little bit more time out of your run, your checks, to get those awkward pickups.
Yeah, I agree. Muffin will also, if he wants to, have the option to like skip some pickups in the first half of Ginso, get his clue, and then it's not going to be Ginso, but if it was, he could turn around and backtrack. So that's a inefficiency that is much harder to do in Misty Woods. You know what I mean?
Especially considering that some of the pickups in Misty Woods, once you go past them, you can't go back to unless you complete the entirety of Misty Woods, which includes putting the Gumon Seal in, well, the torch into its place to get the Gumon Seal, and that's extremely slow.
Yeah, I want to mention from Trojan too, as we can see, he's continuing to be thorough. Trojan made it to the Stomp Tree and afterwards checked a number of pickups, including the grenade-locked pickup underwater. Trojan also went back to Grotto and went into this spiky area that I like to call the Teeth Corridor. Continuing to check pickups, Trojan doesn't have a clue for this area, so these are just additional checks that he wants to do. And as far as checking stuff goes, Grotto's a very good place to check. It's just interesting to me that Trojan is still being thorough. I wonder what he's searching for that he doesn't have already.
He might just be checking things as he goes along. Trojan is a very thorough rando player. He goes and he checks what he can on the way. He's a very good routing with that as well. This is just honestly a typical playstyle for him, but it's unfortunately not going to suit him in this particular seed.
No, because nothing nothing has been hard gated enough to cause Muffin problems. Like you said, Water Vein could have been grenade locked, but it wasn't. It could be the case that Muffin missed something buried, but he's not going to. Not that Trojan can know that, of course, but yeah, the thoroughness. I hate to sort of be dismissive almost, but it's effectively Muffin has effectively already won. Because even if Trojan started rushing trees immediately, he wouldn't be able to catch up. By the time Muffin gets that Blackroot clue, it's not going to take him long at all to find it.
Trojan is going to get his dash here eventually, though, considering dash was the experience orb directly above the double jump tree. It's not going to take him long to find it, so I'm wondering if he's going to feel slightly behind if and when he finds that.
Hard to say. We can see Trojan on the right continuing to check a few pickups that Muffin skipped, like the Mapstone, although Trojan is not going to go all the way down into the mini-boss. There, Muffin got his Sunstone Blackroot clue, wiggling his mouse, because from his perspective, he might be scared, thinking, oh god, it's going to be grenade-locked and I'm going to lose the seed. That's not the case, and even if it was, grenade is also in Blackroot, but I have to imagine Muffin is going to do the logical thing, no, he's actually going straight back to Valley to do Misty Woods, I'm sure. Okay, that makes sense. He's going to finish out Misty and hope he gets Grenade along the way just in case, and then go back to Blackroot.
I'm wondering if he thinks that it is going to be Grenade locked, considering that there's only a couple of pickups that he can check that aren't.
Well, it's a smart play, because you don't lose anything by it, right? One way or another, Muffin is going to have to go into Blackroot and go into Misty Woods. He's going to have to do some teleporting, so it really doesn't lose you any time to do them in either order. So why not do Misty first, and on the off chance that you get Grenade? If you don't get Grenade, you haven't lost anything, and you got the tree out of the way anyway. Obviously, we've said this 100 times, it's not going to be the case. Muffin will be fine, but it is an intelligent play from a probabilistic standpoint.
Now, it also could be a difference in play, because Muffin's not checking anything that isn't directly in his path. He might just be going for the tree just so he can get to potentially going into Blackroot. And honestly, what I think he'll end up doing, if he were to find that the Sunstone was grenade locked, he'd go into Forlorn and do the escape first before digging for Grenade if it wasn't already so accessible.
I agree. That said, Muffin knows where the pickups are. He knows that it could be grenade locked. At this point, it actually, even though it isn't grenade locked, it has actually a better chance, I think, to be than it isn't. But Muffin is going to do the smart thing, clear out the pickups that he can along the way. He'll be happy that he did. Muffin can't use Bash Grenade to get up to the dash point because, of course, he doesn't have Grenade yet. And check this out. from Mr. Trojan Dude. He has his water vein clue, and he is going to be so thorough that he's going to guarantee he doesn't miss it doing the Valley Long Swim.
Oh my goodness. I'm curious as to what's here. It's 50 experience.
Absolute garbage. Again, the reason Trojan did that, it has to be because of that water vein clue. That's even for Trojan's preferred level of thoroughness. That's not something he would check on a whim.
Now, the curious thing about this is that, technically speaking, none of this, as far as Raziel know, this experience with the boulder, none of this is in logic without wall jump.
Yeah, you're right. Which is accessible. Actually, it's not. So Charge Flame must be somewhere. It doesn't matter in this seed, but Muffin, when he got his grenade, I was kind of laughing because he was spamming Alt T because he was just excited, thinking, now I don't have to go to Forlorn. And it turns out that's correct, but not for the reason he thought.
Well, Muffin has all 10 trees, has his grenade, his sunstone, and just gonna head straight to Forlorn in less than 30 minutes into the seed. This is incredibly quick.
Yep. Muffin won't be able to grenade jump, of course, without charge jump. He has the other two requirements, but not charge jump. It's possible that he gets it like at warmth, but it's very, 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 very unlikely. Even so, Muffin is gonna run away with this. He would have to die an enormous number of times in order to fail this. Meanwhile, Trojan made it through the early valley area, hasn't found his water vein because, of course, it's down further along the path to the Forlorn Ruins. Trojan's just going to get Sorrow out of the way first.
Can charge jump be on warmth returned?
I don't know. Maybe.
I know double jump can be.
No, it cannot. Okay, so I was mistaken. It can't be, so definitely no grenade jumps this seed. Thank you, Meldon. But yeah, Muffin has clean water as well as Bash and a number of other skills, and I think he has plenty of health, so this should be a bit of a relaxing experience here for Muffin, although he might be nervous, but man, Muffin has to feel confident about this.
This is exactly the kind of seed that he wanted.
Yeah, that's right. He wanted a jet seed. Knowing that he had a jet seed, Muffin prioritized trees. He didn't skip everything, of course, but skipped most things. He can use Charge Dash to break these barricades. Yeah, there he goes. I think Muffin may have been setting up for a grenade jump for just a moment before realizing he doesn't have it, but that's fine. He's through. Meanwhile, Trojan made it to the Charge Jump tree and is going to, rather than Altar, is going to head back down.
And looks like we're going to see fish strats from Covert Muffin to end the seed out.
That was a nice, swaggy fish strats, too, with the double bashing. GG.
And yeah, GG to Muffin. That is really
An
quick.
impressive time. That's going to be sub 32, I think, or right around the 32 mark at least.
And that was also an extremely low amount of pickups, too. That's incredible.
It's kind of rare to see less than 100 pickups. Would you say that's accurate?
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, of course, as always, Muffin's timer doesn't end yet, which means that Trojan, assuming he's watching the SRL window, which I think he is, doesn't know that he's lost yet. Trojan is doing, again, the logical play, knowing that the water vein is in Valley. He's going to continue searching. I'm assuming that Trojan's just going to continue down the Forlorn path, and away he goes. I mean, what else is there to say? Muffin annihilated that seed.
And Trojan is going to get his water vein. Almost quits out, realizes that it is indeed the water vein, and does not save Scum that pickup.
That's one you probably don't want to save Scum, if I had to guess. Trojan decided to alt R and go back to the Valley TP. I don't know, that was probably faster or about the same. Meanwhile, Muffin did finish out with some optimizations, either just for funsies or to calm his nerves, taking first place with a time of 32:02. Phenomenal time.
That's not only a really good time for a race, but that's also just a really good time for a randomizer seed in general. This was a quick seed, shows the skill of both runners. You know, Trojan is going to be able to do an extremely quick check of Misty using a bunch of the movement tech. Really clean, as did Muffin earlier.
Well, I mean, for what it's worth, I feel like we spent most of this seed praising Muffin, and I don't want to give the impression that Trojan's playing badly or is being stupid or something. That's not the case at all. I mean, as you can see, Trojan is currently sitting at 8 out of 10 trees. He already has both dungeon keys. In fact, I got Grenade and Sunstone quite a bit earlier than Muffin. Trojan is going to have 9 trees in the form of Climb in just about, I don't know, 15 seconds or 10 seconds or something like that. Doesn't have charge jump, so he has to go around, but that won't take long. And Trojan knows he doesn't have to check anything in Ginso either.
Trojan has absolutely been on fire with this seed as well.
I feel compelled, while Trojan is going to finish up Ginso, to share a haiku that that Muffin wrote in advance, a sort of classy form of trash talking, if you will. He just typed it in SRL, and I'm going to recite it to you now. Trojandude12, wow. 12th best Trojan, my old name was Trojandude1. Written by Covert Muffin.
Trojan's gonna head to the Ginso tree now. Is gonna finish out this seed. See, does end up finding that lovely cutscene of the giant bird that we just don't know about at all.
We don't. Yeah, so Trojan is just going to be floating up. I'm kind of looking at the skill sets. Yeah, Trojan actually does have wall jump up on Muffin, but otherwise that's about it. So Trojan, once he gets to the final escape, isn't going to be able to do a grenade jump either. Trojan is also going to dip off and grab the Swamp Teleporter. Swamp Teleporter is a pretty common find, but we neither runner happened to find it this seed. Nice rocket jumps to get there a little bit faster, and Trojan has made it to the front of Ginso. Actually went over a cutscene trigger in the process.
Sometimes when you're playing, you just keep forgetting that cutscenes are there or never end up seeing them, and then when you don't have the skills in order to skip them in rando, you're like, oh, right, that cutscene was there. When's the last time I saw this?
Yeah, that can definitely happen. As expected, Trojan is going to skip pickups. He doesn't have to check anything. To be honest, I haven't seen Trojan type in the SRL window yet, so I actually don't know. I should have checked with him in advance if Trojan watches chat. Like, I know some runners, myself included, like to hide it because it can be stressful to kind of be glancing out of your peripheral vision, always wondering if you're going to see a dot done. Trojan is certainly playing like he's still playing to win, you know? He's skipping everything he can, he's dashing everywhere he can, he's not playing slowly or anything like that, or being swaggy for the sake of show.
It does look like he is continuing on with the seed with the intent to finish, so I would consider that he has not yet seen the SRL chat. He might alt-tab and look at it, perhaps, as he's getting the tree, as it gives a little bit of time.
Yeah, I guess while Trojan is finishing this up, because to be honest, there's not going to be anything remarkable about Trojan's play. I mean, he's a really solid player, but he's just going to go to Poru and just wreck the crap out of the final escape, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Just in case we didn't.
It's not an extremely awful final escape.
Yeah.
At once today.
I just wanted to sort of remind everyone, because I don't know if we said it explicitly. It should be obvious at the very top you see best of 3. This is a best of 3, so Muffin won this game, but he hasn't won the best of 3 series yet. And the next game 2, obviously, will be coming up directly after this match, with a little bit of a break in between on the same channel. So I just wanted to make it clear, you know, it's not like Trojan's out of the tournament yet, although he does have an uphill battle in his future, his very, very near future.
Well, it is a battle that both of these runners are intending on fighting to the finish, and neither one is going to let the other go down without one heck of a fight.
You are certainly not wrong about that. We'll see how many attempts at Dorp it takes as well. Nice use of Bash Grenade and dashes and charge dashes and whatnot. Trojan had enough energy to do a lot of those, but not enough energy that he could like be completely frivolous with his C dashes. Trojan has entered Mount Horu, the final dungeon.
Trojan's energy management for this entire seed has just been absolutely stellar.
Yeah, I agree. Also, nice first start Orb. That trick is frame perfect.
And it means that we don't have to count.
Which is good, because we're terrible at counting.
Oh yeah, never do math on stream.
Never even once.
There are a precious few who can actually do that without making themselves look like fools. I am not one of those people.
It's a valuable talent to have, that's for sure. So yeah, kind of looking back on this seed, Muffin made some mistakes early on. Not catastrophic mistakes, but some mistakes early on. Trojan made some mistakes early on, probably worse mistakes in terms of the time lost to some deaths. But the big factor in this seed happened to be that Trojan continued to be thorough, whereas Muffin rushed trees. And in rushing trees, Muffin got the clues more quickly and was able to more narrowly focus his searching. Then the keys also happened to be in relatively easy locations to find. So I think that's the major reason why Muffin walked away with the victory.
The keys were quite simple to obtain. Trojan getting hit by a rock on the way up has enough health to very easily take a hit, take that bash, and get through the final escape. A lot of those mouse movements.
Just circling it around and around. What else can you do when Ori's just taking a nap? I don't know about you, I always find it difficult to sleep and it's like really hot, so I don't know how Ori's able to just sort of chill and fall asleep when everything's on fire, but I don't know, maybe leaf spirits are just good at that.
I mean, hey, if I could take a nap anywhere like that, that is a skill I would love to have. Just instant plop down, take like a 10-minute nap. That'd be great.
Totally. Totally. Just a little bit longer for Trojan. Oh god, it's a bird. Wait,
It's a
no,
plane.
there's the bird.
It's
an owl.
No, it is a bird.
Who could have ever seen that one coming? Bunch of little owls over on the left side.
How long is the tournament going on?
Long enough. Trojan, as opposed to Muffin, is not doing hoptimizations, which we like to refer to hopping with Naru, finishing up with a final time of 40-23. With the GGs in the chat, both runners are, obviously done. Muffin will be taking game 1 in this best of 3, as I said. We will have that second game coming up on the same channel, so stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. But I assume that we'll be taking a little bit of a break, mostly for the runners to clear their heads between consecutive seeds.
Considering that doing 2 seeds in a row is perhaps one of the most difficult things about this tournament. You can get seeds confused back and forth. It's sometimes really intimidating.
I agree. But anyway, we will be right back.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Game 2 of Covert Muffin vs. Trojandude12. I am Rainbow Poogle once again, and for this time, I'm joined by Shed. How are you doing, Shed?
Yo, Google, what's up?
Not much. Rounds, as far as this is the round of 16, Game 1 of this best of 3 was super duper quick. Ended up with a 32, roughly, minute time by Covert Muffin to take it. Game 2, maybe it'll be the same, maybe a little bit different. Who knows? What do you think we're going to see?
I mean, it's Muffin. He's so good at the randomizer that I would almost expect to see that again. But I mean, it is always the randomizer. Can't really expect anything.
And to be fair, Trojandude is also an extremely talented rando player. Sometimes
Yeah,
just have the chips fall.
Absolutely. And of course, this is a best of 3. Covert Muffin has won the first round, so he will be hoping to win the second game as well and take home the whole match. But Trojan is going to try and stave that off for one more race.
And Muffin did mention before the match started that he would much rather win or lose 2-0 or 0-2 rather than have it go to a game 3.
Yeah. Less pressure.
Absolutely. I will pose the question to you, Shed. What is our first skill going to be?
Let's go crazy. I'm going to say our first skill is double jump.
That would be an interesting start. Some people would even consider that wall interaction.
It is wall interaction.
Absolutely, my point exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it is slightly easier to fake wall interaction with double jump on a controller than KBM. So hopefully our runners hopefully our runners won't have to deal with that. They do get a second energy cell straight off the bat. Does open the potential of going through the Death Gauntlet if they get wall interaction and decide to skedaddle that way. Depending on what the seed wants you to do, it's not technically a sequence break if all the seed wants is you to just go the long way. So maybe that'll work out.
Possibly. It does allow you to get over to that dense area faster. It does require a pretty slow trick to do, however, so we'll see what the runners opt for. I'm thinking with a single keystone already, they're probably going to get another one and head left into Glades, but we'll see exactly what happens. Third pickup is the Grove teleporter. Never mind, that's an option.
Now, since Covert Muffin has already taken a damage, I'm not sure he's going to go and check that pickup underneath in the water.
We got our first skill. It was Charge Flame. That is intriguing to me.
And Covert Muffin is immediately going to put that skill to use to get rid of that fish, so that Mr. Chompers does not get in the way of checking the fake Flippers pickup, which is just going to be some experience.
Which is fine. A lot of runners like to get that check out of the way, even though it's out of sequence, just because you kind of can, and if it's important, then you can keep it. I'm personally not a fan of checking that if you're not opening the door at the same time, but both of our runners opted to check it anyway, and neither runner keeping it. We are going to see them head off to the Grove teleporter now. They just have Charge Flame, so there's not a whole lot that they can actually check over here. Muffin's going to go ahead and skip the cutscene at this teleporter as well, which means he's actually not going to be able to teleport away from it, and when he teleports to it, he'll have a annoying little sign glitch, but he's going to head right to the Charge Flame tree now. We'll see what he gets there. You can check 3 pickups right here.
Also, would not surprise me if he were to get this, as he did last race, get that particular energy crystal to do the blind movement away from the Charge Flame tree, which is just going to give him a keystone. Now, technically speaking, he didn't have to do that, as he could have just Charge Flamed the wall, but this does saves energy, does allow him to get that plant, and now because they have that Grove teleporter, our runners won't actually have to waste the 2 keystones on that door.
All right, real quick. Trojan on the right side of your screen has actually opted to head left from the teleporter. I'm glad he did this because you can access this one pickup in Logic, and we'll see what it is. Meanwhile, Muffin on the left, also doing important things, found Wall Jump past the blue wall at the bottom of Charge Flame. which is great and going to allow him to head into Spirit Caverns here already.
And he is going to go into Spirit Caverns immediately. Trojandude only finding an ability cell at that stomp pickup. But the thing is, it is going to allow him an extra ability point in order to skip certain cutscenes, perhaps in Blackroot. And
I don't think that's going to matter a whole lot. There's a lot of pickups they have access to in Glades via the route that Covert Muffin has already taken. So the likelihood that they won't have enough ability points for the BRB cutscene skips is exceptionally low.
no, that is a good point. Now,
All right, Muffin has finished up his Spirit Caverns check, found 2 map stones, so he'll be glad to have those. And he's going to head down towards the wall and be able to turn in one of those map stones right here.
Trojan is going to just break that blue wall instead, so that he can have the energy refill.
Oh boy! All right, we have dash already on map 1 for Covert Muffin. Trojan is going to get that. There's no way he misses it, basically, unless he doesn't go to Spirit Cavern first, in which case it could take him a while to get it, but I don't think he's going to do that. Dash is... it's fast. It's great to have, especially early, but if you're not practiced with it in the early game or in weird positions, it can sometimes make you overconfident and end up killing yourself. But I think Muffin is good. I think he's done early dash seeds enough that he'll be fine.
And it does look like Trojandude is going to go into Spirit Caverns. He's going to get that map stone as well, going to get his early dash, which does provide for some interesting routing choices early on, especially, as you said, since ability points early game are not going to be that much of an issue. You get up to air dash, you potentially even get up to charge dash, which allows for one of my favorite bits of movement tech, rocket jumps, which allows to break a lot of parts of the game as far as verticality is concerned.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're going to want to try and get up the charge jump as soon as possible. Air dash is also just a great movement skill. But we're seeing here, Muffin is pulling ahead by quite a lot, both because he got his dash pickup way earlier than Trojandude is, and of course Trojan took the time to check the pickup to the left of the Grove teleporter. I'm pretty sure we saw him watch the cutscene. He might have skipped it. I did not actually see that.
Yeah, I believe he did watch that cutscene.
That's good. Yeah, it's basically just it's causing him to fall further and further back now, and between that and just some execution basically on Muffin's side, like Muffin's taking a pretty sizable early lead here. We usually say early leads don't matter a whole lot, but this is already pretty substantial in my eyes.
However, both runners have dash now. Considering that Blackroot can be extremely costly sometimes, and by that I mean 3 damage spikes that you fall into and can't get out of, not fun.
Yeah, the whole area is made easier with dash, though. You can use a dash glide to get over the one, like, really annoying jump, which Muffin just did right now. Perfectly with that dash glide.
Yeah, that jump with just wall jump is a little scary. Slightly less, that's probably the only part of Blackroot that is slightly less scary with climb, because you don't have to worry about spamming the jump button when you're trying to get over there. You just hold the climb button, and if you hit that end of the ledge, you just stick.
Very true. I'm having a little bit of trouble with a tiny corner jump there. He finds climb. Speaking of, we found climb right up there at the top of Blackroot. Not going to help a whole lot right now since we already had wall jump, but if the runners find charge jump, that's going to combine very nicely with climb. It is also, of course, Triforce part number 1 of Muffin's favorite movement tech, the grenade jump.
Now, finding climb to pair with air dash is really nice, because sometimes, like, for example, getting up to the XP Orb in Valley is a little painful, but if you have either air dash or climb or a combination of the two, as well as wall jump, it's slightly more manageable. And that experience orb is indeed in logic with just wall jump. Oh, so is technically with just wall jump or wall jump and climb and dash, the XP orb above Charge Flame Tree is also within logic.
By the time we get back up there, if we even ever do, I would suspect that the runners are going to have air dash by then. Having dash this early, knowing you're going to want to be rushing those abilities, it's just great. Muffin even going to grab some extra XP during this cutscene stack. That's interesting. I haven't actually seen before. Glides on the dash tree, by the way. Don't have to worry about that for Sorrow Pass anymore.
Well, our runners aren't getting any form of verticality, but they're getting all of, I suppose, what they would consider the secondary
Everything else?
skills. Yeah, like secondary skills as far as these are extremely nice to have so you don't have to worry about them later.
Right, we don't have a way to break floors yet, which we'll need. Maybe. Most likely. We don't have, yeah, like you said, we don't have any verticality, so basically any of the other skills, except maybe grenade, and we'll be all good to go.
So basically, I think at this point they're looking for climb, double jump, or bash grenade. Even stomp, but I feel like they might want climb, if anything, more than stomp.
All right, Muffin has come over here to Valley Entry. He's going to be able to check a lot more than Trojan did, including where Stomp was this whole time. Okay.
Well,
There we go.
I'm just gonna eat my words right here.
And Muffin is going to appear to, at least, take this dash and stomp that he now has down towards the grenade tree, maybe the Blackroot teleporter, just rushing those trees, and hopefully getting his clues as soon as he possibly can to find the dungeon keys that we need.
Now that puts the light grenade area within logic.
It does.
Which I like seeing early on in Seeds just because then you don't have to go back for it.
Personally, I like going to it a little bit later.
That
when
looked
you
like a
have
skill.
the skill to collect. It was not. It was a map stone.
That was maps done.
Yes. But I like going into it later when you know you can check the other pickups in that area as well, quickly at least. Real quick aside as well, I thought Muffin was just going to go down to the grenade tree, but he is going to come over here and grab the BRB teleporter. Oh, he's also going to stomp his way into Grotto. That is a very good reason to come over here and check all this stuff. This is going to be early access to Moon Grotto, much faster than going around the long way.
And it looks like our truck is informing us that our first clue on the third tree was indeed the water vein in Valley, yet again.
Ooh.
The
Alright,
water vein
so
was in Valley in game 1. It was down on the way to Forlorn as the mapstone. So I'm wondering where it's going to end up this time.
yeah, water vein, any clue in Valley, to be honest, is not really something you want to see. If you aren't aware, the Valley area has a lot of pickups that are out of the way, so you can't really check them conveniently, and a lot of pickups that are gated by weird skill combinations. There's pickups that basically require bash. There's pickups that basically require climb, charge, jump. There's pickups that actually straight up require grenade. And we don't have any of those right now. So it's potentially a little bit worrying to our runners right now, seeing that water vein clue in Valley. And I would even suspect that we're going to see Muffin and be a little bit more thorough than maybe we'd expect, hoping to find those skills that he might need to complete a Valley clue. I didn't mention that Trojan would be more thorough because he's very well known to be thorough at all times, so would expect to continue seeing him to be thorough.
Now we're going to see what's behind this mini-boss, made very trivial by the
Oh
skills
my goodness.
that the runners currently have in order to get things done. Now, the entirety of Moon Grotto is within logic for these runners, save for the underwater pickups. I'm wondering if Covert Muffin's going to go back for the lower left-hand side, or if he's just going to take this and run.
He might complete this right side first, since he's already over here, and then drop down later. But knowing Muffin's style, I would suspect that he's going to take this and run, go elsewhere, check a bunch of other dense areas that are on the way to trees. I don't think he can quite get to Stomp Tree yet. I don't know. We'll see what he does.
He can if he decides to do a redirect. And with that energy cell from Trojan at that aforementioned experience orb up there, that's 4 energy.
It is. We have now found 4 energy. There are a couple pickups that are gated by that. They're kind of out of the way at this point, for Muffin at least. We'll see if Trojan checks. He only has 3 energy right now anyway. And the 4th was down where Muffin is right now. I mean, so that puts those doors in logic, but I don't know if we'll actually see checks for them. We have a pretty good set of skills already, and they're kind of out of the way.
So Trojandude is going to instead of going through Blackroot to get to Grotto, Trojandude is going to take the slightly more casual route.
Longer.
Wondering if
There's a bunch of pickups that you can check in logic, but yeah, exactly that.
I'm wondering if there's going to be any potential skills over here that the seed is intending our runners to get on their way to Moon Grotto.
It's possible. Something like Bash, Charge Jump. I haven't mentioned this yet, actually. We found Double Jump, Muffin did, behind the Grotto mini-boss. That's like the one skill of the 4 they didn't have that you don't really, like, think you might need. The other skills you think you might need for Valley. Double Jump was the one that is just nice, but might not be necessary. So we're still skill hunting. The seed just gave them the one that they didn't need. Okay, but it is really nice to have.
Not just skill hunting. So long as our runners don't find clean water, they're going to need at least 5 health, which Trojan has. More than likely, they're going to want 6 just in case something goes slightly awry.
The substitute to that is getting a lot of ability cells, in which case you can level up Ultra Defense, which doubles your effective health in terms of water, at least. And it's so one or the other, definitely. Either way, you're hunting. You're checking a lot of pickups.
Trojandude going to stomp this peg and open the way into the Roof of Death Gauntlet.
That might just be an insurance for... Oh no, he is actually going to go check it. Interesting. This is a kind of a long check, but Trojan deciding that, you know what, this might be that Trojan knows that Muffin is faster, basically. And Trojan is saying, all right, let me be exceptionally thorough, check all of these pickups that are crazy out of the way, and maybe something that is important is there. That's almost certainly what he's doing, I think, actually.
He could use this as his way into Grotto, perhaps, or it looks like he's going to save scum this and take the more thorough route this direction into Grotto, through the Swamp Loop, potentially through Iceless area.
So, while Trojan does get to check a bunch of stuff, he's not really progressing towards any trees. Like, he could be progressing towards Double Jump, I suppose, if he continues heading, like, all the way down. But meanwhile, Muffin is just checking these super dense areas and rushing trees. He's got basically every tree that he can easily access already. And now he gets to check all of these super thorough areas, already knowing that he doesn't need to worry about his tree progress at the moment.
We're going to see what's in the Glide Vault, which is aptly named because there is often glide within this vault. We even saw that yesterday.
Sure did. But it's not there today. We already found that, so... I haven't found a whole lot of interest right now with these 2 searches from our runners. Trojan found Charge Dash Efficiency, which will be nice later. Never mind. There's Charge Jump.
Which means that Trojan is going to get a lot more verticality. Yes, Double Jump is nice, but Charge Jump is one of those things where that and Climb basically means you can get through most, if not all, places of the map.
Yep, that... I believe unlocks every pickup in Valley, which is the place we care about right now, since that's where we know the water vein is. That unlocks everything in Valley except for the 1 grenade lock pickup. So finding that is important.
You mean 2 grenade lock pickups?
2 grenade lock pickups, yes, that.
We saw Trojan actually check one last seed.
I forgot about the long swim because I just usually forget its existence. But who knows? Water vein could be there today.
Now, I'm going to bring up the point I did bring up last seed as well, is that there is one pickup that is hard Climb Charge Jump gated that you can either get around via a Terror Break or by grabbing a frog. If that is the case, and that's where Water Vein happens to be this seed, Trojan having Charge Jump is going to be really nice. He might even use that to go get into Swamp right now.
Yeah, that would be, that's... Stomp and Charge Jump is very, very easy swamp access, as you're going to see right here from Trojan on the right side. You just get to go through this area, easy peasy. So basically, Muffin's going to really want to find that Charge Jump pickup. That, I suspect, is actually the skill he's kind of just looking for right now, is Charge Jump, is what he wants. We know where it is, he doesn't. We'll see if he finds it during his searches right now. Oh, hello, Bash on map 4. Is that?
Believe so?
Okay. So
I do believe that might be skill go mode for Trojandude.
that almost certainly is. Yeah, he doesn't have double jump, but he doesn't really need it. Yeah, Muffin's got the 4. He's got 2 in and 2 mapstones stored up, so he'll be able to get that if he heads in the direction of mapstones. He's kind of off checking some one-offs and glades right now, which is not where he really needs to be as far as we know. He doesn't know that, obviously. So we'll see how long it takes him to check that. But yeah, skill go mode for Trojan here. He's behind on trees, but he now can complete basically everything besides the grenade lock pickups.
Now, that double jump pickup is potentially something Trojan's going to want, but it is definitely not something he particularly needs to find.
Very good point. Yeah, he doesn't need it. He's experienced enough to not need double jump in a lot of areas. It would be nice for him to find it, but I highly doubt he's going to. Even though it is Trojan, he's known for being incredibly thorough, even when in go mode. Like, the mini boss it's so long to check, even when you have a good skill set like charge, jump, stomp, and whatever. Like, it's just so long. Even Trojan, I don't think will check that, though he might. Oh, hello, laser cutscene. That's inconvenient.
Now, Trojan has charge jump, however, Covert Muffin does have 2 more trees currently.
Alright, Muffin is now in the Spider Sack area, heading through Grove. We've seen Trojan check a lot of this already, but Muffin finally saying, alright, I've checked a lot of other dense areas, I've rushed all the trees, this is the next dense area, or the next place at least that he wants to check. And if he continues on this path, we know he's going to find his next mapstone, he's going to find charge jump, and he will take that as a go mode almost certainly. Meanwhile, Trojan now gets to rush the trees.
Trojandude is skipping pickups, and normally, considering he is extremely thorough, I think he considers this basically skill go mode. He's skipping basically everything.
Yeah, so it does look like he is going to miss double jump. That's fine. Like I mentioned, he's experienced enough. And yeah, just like you said, he's taking this as a go mode, gonna rush the trees, get his clues. Maybe we'll see if he does some semi-thorough checks in Valley before getting grenade to see if he'll even need it. That would be a smart play, in my opinion. But, yeah.
This is going to be
This is interesting.
Tree, so at this point, he has basically caught up to Muffin as far as tree count's concerned. Wouldn't surprise me if he went down to light grenade for his 6th.
Yeah, and I was just going to mention, like, the one that Muffin has that Trojan doesn't is grenade, which is a super fast tree to get. Alright, there's Bash for Muffin. I would highly likely think that he's going to take this as a go mode, and he's not going to... Oh, he might go... Ooh, hello. Extra double jump. Did Trojan get that? I don't think he did. That's kind of nice. But here, Muffin is going to get charge jump as well, and there we go. Muffin is going to be in full skill go mode, for the moment at least, assuming we don't need grenade, which we might. But, so, both runners, skill go mode, rushing trees. Let's see how this turns out. And an even tree count, even.
Trojan's skipping that underwater pickup.
Yeah, I mean, it's long. Oh no, did he check the one... Did he skip the underwater pickup that was right there? That's interesting to me. Maybe just an oversight, maybe intentionally skipping it, who knows.
Looks like he is... oh, he might be going back for it and then save's coming. He is going back down here.
Alright, that's respectable. Let me get up there with full health and come back and check it.
430 experience. I don't think our runners are finding clean water anytime soon.
So, That's kind of an interesting consideration. That means that clean water is effectively buried, except for the fact that we have a lot of skills. Like, you can get most places with this skill set, so clean water being anywhere is like what you'd expect already. But interestingly, that also, in my head, reduces the priority on the Valley Long Swim to find your water vein, because you know that clean water is later in progression, and the water vein, while it can also be late in progression, is usually not. So it's
Oh,
less likely to be there.
Shed, may I cut you off slightly for
Oh, no.
one moment?
Oh no.
You see what I just saw?
I sure did.
Everyone?
Ladies and gentlemen, Forlorn
water
seed
right is-
confirmed.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. We don't have the Gumon Seal clue either. Have we found the Forlorn teleporter? I don't think so. Oh boy. Oh boy.
So Trojan's gonna get that clue at the feather pickup. I would not surprise me if both of our runners decided to just rush trees to get that clue for the Gumon Seal.
I would fully expect the same, yeah. So here's the other consideration as well, is that I guess it's not really actually a consideration, but there's the grenade lock pickups in Valley, right? Where there's a guaranteed grenade in Forlorn. Like, do you do that first? Do you get your grenade? Do you check everything in Valley to see if you need to get that grenade? There's a pretty interesting routing decision there.
I think at this point I would just go to trees, find out where the Gumon Seal even is, and then...
That's also terrible.
Yeah, depending on how terrible that is, like, if that's in,
Blackroot.
I don't know, Ginso.
Blackroot.
No, consider this. The water vein in Valley, the Gumon Seal in Ginso, and then the Forlorn teleporter is in Forlorn, so they have to go get it, and, like, the Gumon Seals in Ginso escape or something.
That would be fantastic, and I want to see this very badly now. We'll see how it actually turns out, but that is definitely a possibility.
Both runners getting their tree number 7 at different locations.
Where
Well, we're
is
not gonna see this
Trojan
one.
headed right? Oh yeah, he's just checking extra pickup. That's fine.
Just a keys
Alright.
down.
I would suspect Trojan heads to Grenade now. That is the most likely case. Grenade and then Misty. Or no,
Looks like
he's
Misty
just gonna go
then
to Misty
Grenade.
first. Alright. Fair enough.
Looks like Muffin is going to do a bit of valley checks to find the water vein before heading up. Well, that is a wonderful place for the valley teleporter.
Thanks, Seed. Totally didn't just get that. Yeah, it looks like Muffin's gonna do this valley check, see if he needs to be searching for grenade in any capacity. That is definitely a good decision, because if you find the sunstone, or not the sunstone, the water vein already, then you can be less thorough, actually. That's not the right thing that we needed. But we're warm now.
I mean, we might be getting warmer when it comes to finding that water vein.
Trojan
Who knows?
is skipping a lot of pickups in Misty. This is an interesting choice. Because we don't know where the Gumon Seal is. It could be in Misty, and in which case, if he skipped it, then he's going to have to come back and get it later. Which could
Looks
be
like
rough.
he might be looks like he might be just skipping pickups that he knows he can't go back to, like that experience, like that ability cell experience, or whatever.
Alright, sorry to interrupt. We just found the water vein.
Oh, so we did.
Yeah, it was the
So the
last
water vein
pickup
is
in
outside
the
Forlorn.
Forlorn entrance. Yeah, it is not grenade locked, most importantly. That's the key part there. So, we still need to find the Gumon Seal, most likely. But it being in Ginso is no longer a problem for Muffin. Trojan has not done that search. Muffin's going to go head up to, or try to head up to Sorrow now to go get his charge jump tree.
Trojan's gonna head down to Light Grenade, and both of our runners are kind of hitting trees at relatively the same point in time, even though they're different trees. We're gonna get a slight convergence, so to speak, at tree 9, where we're gonna finally find out where in the heck that Gumon Seal is, so our runners can actually go and find out where they need to go to Forlorn. Or how they need
Trojan's
to
gonna
go to
find
Forlorn.
out first, because Muffin found the water vein instead of a tree. He's still got 2 more trees to go before he gets that clue.
Oh,
So
you're right.
Trojan is going to... So, Trojan has more trees right now, so he's closer to the clue, but Muffin already has his water vein. He knows where that is. He has it. It's in his inventory.
I just thought of a silly thing.
Uh-oh.
What if the Gumon Seal's grenade locked?
That is evil. That's so evil.
Sounds awful.
Please no. Alright,
Okay,
Gumon
it's in
Seal's in
Grotto.
Grotto.
That
Can it be grenade
means
locked
it.
in Grotto? Is that possible?
I don't believe so.
know. I don't think so. Where is it in Grotto? What have we not seen in Grotto yet? Long pickup? Could be long
The
pickup.
energy door?
I think I saw
No,
Muffin check
Muffin
that.
did that. In Grotto,
I don't. Yeah, we haven't seen the long pickup to the left in Left Grotto. There might
No,
be
I
some
thought
stuff
Muffin
in the
went
upper
after
area
that.
we haven't seen. Did he? I might be misremembering. Trojan's gonna go ahead and search for that now. He's got the skills to do so.
Could be the lower route into where Trojan's going right now.
Aha! 3 pickups over here. Good check.
Alright, Muffin's gonna go into the Ginso tree. Gonna get his 9th tree in here instead of Misty.
Correction, 2 pickups was where Trojan was. The other one's in Swamp. My bad.
Alright, so where could this be? So Trojan already checked the Death Gauntlet roof.
So I like this out of Muffin, actually. He was gone to Ginso first instead of Misty, which is an interesting decision. It's kind of a little bit of a coin flip there because they're in a similar situation. They're dead end dungeons that you don't want to have to revisit. Hello, Wind Restored. Okay, that's a good spot for that, I suppose. But so Muffin has decided to do Ginso, whether he's more comfortable with that or anything like that, to get his Gumon Seal clue, which he now knows he does not need to continue in Ginso at all. He's probably going to altar here.
So Muffin has done the much more thorough grotto check than Trojan did. Trojan might actually find double jump here though.
Gumon Seal could be underwater where Muffin is right now, behind this 4 energy door.
That's in Grove.
It sure is. I hate this area. Everything about it's so confusing. What is where?
But it was apparently in that lovely little teeth corridor at the health cell.
Alright. Not the worst location in the world for that.
So... Oh, I like this play by Trojan Dude. He's gonna go from a valley down towards Forlorn, in which case he's gonna get his water vein on the way in.
That is a good decision. Yeah, nice.
That's an extremely efficient routing choice.
Yeah, that's going to work out quite well for him, we know. Going back up here to check this plant that he missed. He's going to miss the grenade locked pickup on the way down, but I think at this point you just kind of give that up and hope you don't need it. Alright, Muffin's found his Gumon Seal now. All Muffin has left to do is go to the climb tree and then do his Sunstone hunt. Trojan does not have the water vein or the Sunstone, but we know he's going to get the water vein soon, and then he'll start his Sunstone hunt before he does the Bash tree.
And he is going to find that water vein on the way down. Meanwhile, Muffin technically does have to go back for this section. Doesn't have to check any pickups, but does have to revisit this area.
Oh, Muffin's interesting. Muffin's going to go put off going to the climb tree and just get this... go back down to Forlorn and get his Sunstone hunt out of the way now. Fair enough. So we're gonna have both runners in Forlorn looking for the same thing at the same time. Alright.
So...
Good stuff.
How buried do you think this is?
How buried do I think it is, or how buried do I want it to be? Because those are 2 different things.
Okay, how buried do you want it to be?
I want it to be the escape.
Here's the thing. If it is at the escape, what are the bets on both runners just getting grenade and actually going through?
Pretty low at this point. Oh, well, never mind. It's right there. Right at the
Never mind.
entrance. Okay. Forlorn was nice today.
So, I mean, there's our Sunstone immediately. Trojan's gonna
Ooh.
leave.
You know, do you see what I see right now? This is a Misty versus Ginso race. That's all they have left. Muffin just has to do Misty. Trojan just has to do Ginso, and then they're both headed to the final escape. This is way closer than I thought it was going to be in the middle of this.
Thing is that Muffin has double jump, and double jump ends up with one thing that Muffin has on top of Trojan: stomp cancels. He's going to be able to route his energy usage much more efficiently.
Muffin also already has a billion energy in the first place, so that doesn't like matter a whole lot, I guess. Although Trojan
Wow!
is super low on energy. Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't notice
just
that.
realized that. Muffin has what looks like 8 or so energy, and Trojan is 3.
So Muffin also is flying through Misty. He's already almost to the tree. Meanwhile, Trojan is just entering Ginso now. He's just past the second room. So definite advantage to Muffin right here. That is, yeah. Muffin has a pretty sizable lead now. He's just going to be heading to the escape. Trojan still has quite a bit in his way. He's got a mini-boss. He's got this puzzle room. He's got a block that he's pushing in his way as well.
He's got 10 keystones, so he doesn't have to worry about that at least.
That's a good point, yeah.
Muffin's gonna head to Horror now, as Trojandude is going to deal with this mini-boss. Mini-boss dealt with.
Nice. Yeah, Muffin is definitely putting that energy advantage to great use right now, just flying through. He's not even bothering to stomp cancel. He's just charge dashing because he knows he has enough. It doesn't matter.
And he has charge dash efficiency.
Oh, that too, yeah. So he's got even like double the energy. That is a neat trick with the Baneling there. Very cool. And there we go. Muffin's already at the Horu door. Trojan has gotten his bash tree and will be there soon enough, but he is behind. So if Muffin has any troubles with Door Warp or the final escape, which I don't suspect he's going to, then Trojan is in this race. But otherwise, I'm pretty sure that Muffin will take this one. It is his race to lose right now.
And there's Door Warp.
How excited would you be if Trojan does a random validation XP check and finds grenade?
That would be extremely exciting, and I
That
don't
makes
know how
up
I would
their
feel
whole-
about that.
I'm pretty sure that makes up Muffin's whole lead in the cutscene skip. I kind of hope it happens, but it probably won't. Yeah, Muffin is in the final escape and flying through, continuing to use that energy advantage. And the quad jump.
Not gonna have to worry about water. He's got 9 health. And ultra defense looks like it too.
Plenty. Plenty of safety room. Even gonna do some fish strats. There we
And
go.
he will
Muffin
be
is
out.
pretty done. That was a masterful escape.
First time Door Warp for Trojan. He's gonna be starting his escape. However, Muffin has already finished with his escape. Get your GGs out for Covert Muffin. He's gonna take this 2-0.
Sure is. And with that, he'll advance in the bracket up to the semis? Yeah. Oh, the quarters. He's advancing from the round of 16 to the quarterfinals. He's actually going to be facing me in that match. I'm excited for it. Meanwhile, Trojan is finishing up his escape. He's doing quite well for himself as well. Not quite as fanciful as Muffin did. But he's still going to be able to complete it. He's probably going to get into the final cutscene before Muffin finishes as well, which will be pretty rough. Trojan was just starting that cutscene and then seeing his opponent finish. Not the best feel. That's just how it is.
Not going for fish strats, as Trojan does not have ultra defense.
There we go. GG Trojan. Just got a hold left in the escape, but Muffin is finishing.
Muffin's going to finish with a time of 38:38.
Nice repeated time there.
And Trojan, I don't believe, looks at the SRL chat at all prior to finishing
Does
up,
he?
so
All right.
I'm not
Well,
sure
so
he
then
does.
at least he doesn't get ending sniped. He doesn't see his opponent finish during the final cutscene, which is the worst.
Looks like he's gonna finish up with roughly high 39. So that was incredibly close from both runners.
Yeah, GG to both. That was an exciting race to watch for sure.
Absolutely.
And a great seed to watch. I would have liked watching that even if it was solo, but it was a race, which made it even better. And it was close. That was just wonderful all around. There's Trojan's finish right now. The final time of 39:46. GG, dude.
And with that, Covert Muffin will advance to facing you, Shed, in the round of 8, or the quarterfinals.
Sure will, and I am terrified, but don't tell him that.
Wondering if we're going to get one or both of our runners in here for post-race interview. I do believe we will have Covert Muffin with us. I am uncertain about if we will have Trojandude as well. You're finding that out.
Looks like we are going to.
All right.
In the meantime, let's go ahead and talk to our winner, Covert Muffin. I'll go ahead and pull him in right now. There he is. Hello, Muffin.
GG to Muffin.
Yo, GG.
So, that pair of seeds, huh?
That was pretty beautiful. It robbed me one pickup of grenade jumps 2 seeds in a row. Monster.
Oh, I mean, you could have gone and gotten it.
Yeah, true shit.
Also looks like we have Trojandude waiting for us as well. Should you want to grab him? And there he is, GG Trojan.
Yo, GG guys.
GG.
What a way to finish. That was an absolutely wonderful race to watch. Such a close finish. GG to both of you guys. It was masterfully played.
Thank you.
So, Trojan, back in game 1, you were still being pretty thorough for quite some time. Was there anything in particular you were looking for? As far as either a skill or what have you?
Something to break walls. I didn't have dash, so that allowed me to go through the final escape a little more easily. I could have possibly done it, but I might have infinited myself, because I would have had to stomp that vertical barrier, and I only had so much health. But
That is
that's
a
why
fair
I was
point.
still checking, yeah. Because otherwise, like, if I had charge jump or just even charge flame, I would have been fine. Like, there's no issue at that point with anything else I had. I had clean water and all that fun jazz, and yeah, it was just pretty much just trying to break some walls.
Speaking of looking for things, you made the decision to go into the Valley Long Swim. Is there any reason you decided to go there checking things instead of maybe faster pickups?
Knowing that Muffin is a more efficient runner and he's going to go for the more efficient pickups, I chose to do that along the way in to try and get myself an advantage.
Makes
Speaking
sense.
speaking of valley routing, in game 1, Muffin, you decided to go and look for things where, like, what was your decision for going down towards Forlorn instead of going into the valley entrance? What were you looking for when you were looking for Waterband?
I mean, I'd already done Valley Entrance, so I mean, the only pickup I hadn't done was the long swim, and I didn't have grenade, so I knew that it's important to have the information to know if you're grenade locked or not, because then you can make a decision later on to dig more as you're going for your final trees. If I knew I needed grenade, then I would have checked an additional like 10 to 20 pickups on my way to my final like 2 or 3 trees, and then I could make the play for Forlorn if I still didn't have grenade. Yeah.
Speaking of Forlorn,
Yeah, that second seed. I have some specific questions for you as well. But what was your initial reaction, both of you? But we'll start with Muffin upon seeing that forlorn clue.
Please, dear God, do not have let Trojan found either early Gumon Seal or early Forlorn Teleporter.
That is a reasonable thought, Trojan.
Yeah.
What was your reaction?
My reaction was actually kind of about the same, except for I was also thinking, man, this is the kind of obscure garbage I was asking for pre-race.
All right, so then in terms of routing then, Muffin, you saw that clue. You didn't have like really any of the dungeon keys. The Forlorn Teleporter was nowhere in sight. What was your considerations with so many options available to you between searching for the keys and routing trees? Like, what made you decide to do trees first and then do your water vein hunt, etc.?
So just trying to get all of the right side trees I like to do. I think something that is powerful that came up in these past 2 seeds that doesn't come up a lot is going to Ginso tree first for tree 9 over Misty, because getting first of all, I didn't have grenade in the first game, and so you don't want to see that Misty clue when you hit climb tree and be like, oh no, what if it's the grenade lock pickup at the end? So going through Ginso, you can just sort of like salvage that scenario for yourself. But then I guess in the second game, in hindsight, I should not have gone down to check to Forlorn for the Valley pickups beforehand. And the reason for that is because I knew I needed to go into Forlorn anyway, so I probably should have just done Misty and Sorrow for tree 9, and then gone down when I had Gumon Seal. But it still worked out. It's okay.
Related to that, actually, Trojan, same question actually, but specifically, you did do that play of finding the water vein on your way to Forlorn. Was that in your mind the whole time, or was that just the happenstance?
Yes, 100%. As soon as I saw that, I knew the water vein valley. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll do that and just save scum the whole thing probably at some point. Then when I saw the Forlorn clue at tree 6, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to tree 9 as fast as possible to know where the Gumon Seal is, because I'm going to do that first. Then it's very likely that the route down to Forlorn is going to have it at that point, because I had already checked all the stuff on the way to Feather Tree. And I was just like, all right, Gumon Seal to Water Vein to Sunstone. And that was, as soon as I saw that at tree 6, that was my play.
so
Was there any consideration then towards skill-gated pickups like grenade ones, or was that just kind of I'll deal with it when it comes to it?
Yep, I'll deal with when it comes to it. I knew I could probably find the Gumon Seal in a very accessible location, and that means if it is grenade locked, then I can do is just enter Forlorn, just go get the grenade pickup at the end of Forlorn, and then just do all that from there.
So, curiosity question for me. If the Sunstone just so happens to be on Wind Restored, would either of you have considered going through and getting grenade?
Before checking the other Valley pickups?
If in game 2 the Sunstone happens to be in Forlorn on Wind Restored itself, would either of you consider doing the escape for grenade?
Oh,
Yes, 100%. Because I'm literally there. There's no reason not to.
Yeah, if I didn't have Water Vein and I knew it was grenade blocked, yeah, absolutely. But I would make sure to check to see if it is grenade blocked, because doing Forlorn Escape does not save the like 35 to 40 seconds that the grenade jump at the end of the final escape does.
All right. So, future stuff. Muffin, you're advancing in the brackets. You're going to be facing me next round. How are you feeling in terms of that match and moving on if you do so?
Please kick my ass. I'm so ready to be done. I'm kind of burnt out on Rando right now, but
Fair enough.
yeah. I'm looking forward to the matchup. I was kind of hoping to get matched against you, Shed, in Swiss, because we were both 4-0 going into the final round. But the way the coin flip ended up, I got to face another really scary opponent. Of course, all of the other opponents were scary who ended up getting matched up there. But I am looking forward to the matchup, and I hope we don't get randoed and we get to put on a really good show.
Sounds good to me, dude. Trojan, you are now out of the tournament, both singles and doubles, unfortunately. But you did quite well, put on a good show. So GG to you. But what are your plans for Rando and Ori moving forward?
Well, first, thank you. I appreciate it. I made my goal of making brackets in both singles and doubles. I definitely wanted the double ones for sure. But outside of this tournament, I'm actually probably going to take a little bit of a break from Ori right now, and I'm going to pursue a bunch of other casual games I've been meaning to play, and also a couple new speed runs. Like I'm going to look into Sonic Adventure 2 Battle Hero Story, and also might get into some Twilight Princess runs.
Cool stuff. All right, that's going to do it for us from the Ori tournament tonight. We have more matches as the weeks go by. Our next ones are tomorrow, games 1 and 2 of the best of 3 between Clean and Oosh at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. So come back for that. Till then, I've been commentating as Shed. I've been joined by Poogle. On Truck just now, we had Grim and who else was it? Hydra. And then Meldon was restreaming, so thank you to them. And until then, have a good night.
Good night, everybody.